Chung Yoo-jung was born in 1999, very young. She, like a lot of people, was born into a pretty volatile house. Her parents were always busy working. They were too busy to take care of her. She was sent off to live with her grandfather, and he was the exclusive sole guardian throughout her entire childhood, which I think is interesting. So in a lot of cultures, and Korean culture as well, it's common for grandparents to move in and raise the grandchildren while the parents are busy working. But her grandfather was listed as her sole guardian. So, I mean, that to me indicates whether her parents were divorced or they were not present at all in her life. If it was to the extent of negligence or abandonment, I'm not sure. But the fact that her grandfather was listed as her sole guardian, I think something must have happened with her parents. I'm sure it probably impacted her in some way to not have her parents around, to not having this loving dynamic that a lot of kids have. But I mean, it's been proven time and time again that a child's first example of a relationship is with the parent. So, we don't know. It's just something to consider. Ultimately, we have no idea what happened, if anything, but we know that it wasn't the most stable home. Regardless, growing up, Yoo-jung was regarded as a very specific word that I've never really heard in cases. Invisible. Not just quiet, not just shy, not just introverted, but invisible. Her former classmates said if you said hi to Yoo-jung in the hallway, like if you waved to her in the hallway, she would never say anything back. She wouldn't even smile back. She wouldn't nod in acknowledgement. She wouldn't even wave back. She would basically just ignore your existence. They said that Yoo-jung never spoke or replied to any of her classmates. So if you were a classmate and you were asking her a question and she knows you're asking her a question, the room is silent and you go, "Hey, Yoo-jung, can you pass me that?" She wouldn't even look at you. She would not respond to you. If it was an elder, like a teacher, authority figure, or even a neighbor, if they asked her a question, she would avoid eye contact and answer just yes or no. Outside of school, Yoo-jung never even left her home. Neighbors reported almost never seeing her out, walking around, hanging out with friends, going on walks with her grandpa, inviting friends over. Nothing.
손녀가 있는 거는 아는데 그러니까 잘 몰라요. 한 두 번 봤나? 이 집을 안에 들어가서 내가 보니까 좀 내성적인 게 있을까? 뭐 이거 한 번 왔다 갔다 하면 들어가 버리면 한 번씩 말을 걸면 마지못해서 거래를 했거든요.
It's stated, and this is kind of random and super specific, but Yoo-jung hated talking to people, but if she were at the convenience store and she was owed like a penny back in change, most Koreans stated that they just wouldn't ask for the change. They'd be like, "Oh, keep the change," because they don't want to walk around with this penny. They don't know exactly what to do with this penny. It's just kind of a hassle. Yoo-jung, the person who hates talking, would ask for that penny back no matter what. That was like the one time she was very vocal. She was like, "Give me my penny back." Which is fine. She's entitled to it, but people just thought it was kind of interesting to note. Contrary to a lot of speculation, former classmates also stated Yoo-jung was absolutely never bullied. So as far as we know, nobody picked on her. Nobody forced her to retreat into her shell and go unnoticed. Nobody verbally, physically hit her. Nobody bothered her because she wouldn't even wave back at you. It's like she would just float through her childhood like a ghost. This seems to be like a choice that she made for whatever reason. She would be so good at being unnoticeable that she could walk into a room and no one would look up or even hear anything. Her presence was unknown. She was unseen. She was unremarkable in almost every way. We have no idea if she desperately desired to talk or to say something or wanted someone to listen to her, as if she was invisible and she didn't want to be. She couldn't stop. Maybe her brain blocked that part of her life or blocked that part of her socialization. I don't know. Or on the flip side, you could argue that this was a choice. She didn't like people. This was her own little rebellion to not talk to people. She was deliberately ignoring them.